Welcome back to Inside Track. Our guest, candidate for CD1, Nolan Reidhead. Nolan, thanks for being on the show.
Eb, it's wonderful to be here with you, especially on this June 6th anniversary of D-Day and to commemorate those individuals who fought and stormed the beaches of Normandy on Omaha Beach. And to commemorate that anniversary, it's good to be with you today.
Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, first of all, we ask this of every candidate coming on the show. According to the Arizona Constitution, what's the stated purpose of government?
So Article 2, Section 2 of the Constitution says that the stated purpose of government is all political power is inherent in the people. And government, it derives its just powers from the consent of the governed and is organized or established to protect and maintain individual rights.
Wow. And you're not even reading.
Not even reading.
I'm looking at you in your eyes and you know that cold. Good. Now, what does that mean to you?
So there are three parts to it to me. All political power is inherent in the people. And so the people have the right, and I heard the segment before Benny White talking about the importance of voting. And we've seen a situation where a political party tried to weaponize FBI and other agencies to take away or somehow hurt another political party. And so the right to vote is so important, and the people have the right to go in, they have the right to vote, and that political party rests with the people. So we should let that happen and let the vote in a responsible and necessary way, number one. Number two, governments derive their just power from the consent of the governed. And so we're seeing now that we have a over-bloated government that is not protecting, again, going to the third, not protecting the rights of the individual. And so you have those three parts of government, and unfortunately, we're seeing federal governments, we're seeing state governments, we're seeing local governments usurp their power and not protect and maintain the rights of the individual. They're essentially trying to especially we're seeing a lot of that during this COVID-19. We're seeing various parts of our economy being overturned by the government and not being generated or maintained to protect the individual rights of the individual. So we need to get back to that stated purpose of government. We need to get back to individuals who will honor and respect that stated purpose of government. Boy, it would be nice if we could have individuals who would go to Congress, go to act as a mayor, act as a governor, act as a, whatever the case may be, and act in accordance with that stated purpose. So
do you understand the job you're seeking, or what is your understanding of the job you're seeking?
So I am running for U.S. Congress, Congressional District 1. And District 1 is a massive part of Arizona and covers Oro Valley, Maricopa, City Maricopa, Casa Grande, all the way to the Gila Valley, all the way to the White Mountains, all the way up to the state of Utah, including Flagstaff, many different sectors. And essentially, I'm running to Congress, number one, to legislate. The legislative branch is given the duty under the Constitution to legislate and to enact laws, again, to protect and maintain individual rights. We're seeing through this various acts that Congress has enacted that they're not doing that. And in addition, Congress is there for oversight. And so that's the job I'm doing. I'm going to represent Arizona, CD1, for that stated purpose of government, whether it's stated in the Arizona Constitution or whether it's stated in the U.S. Constitution, the Bill of Rights. That's what the congressman is supposed to do. That's their purpose. Not to be go there for power, not to go there so you can get 3 houses, or not to do this, that, or the other. You are there under that stated purpose of government and protect the Constitution and to protect your constituents in that manner. That's why I'm going.
CD1 is the 4th largest congressional district in the U.S.
That's correct.
And it's also the largest district with Native American population.
That is correct.
So are you getting support from any of the Native Americans?
Yes. And the issue with, the problem is it's been difficult to get, especially on the Navajo Nation, with COVID-19. Things have been locked up, and we have tried to help. They are, the Navajo Nation and other areas, the Hopi and those places, not only been hit very hard economically through certain socialistic policies, especially with the closure of the Navajo generating station and other policies, but they've also been hit over years and decades of socialistic policies that are hurting the nation. So what's happening is you're seeing the nation under lockdown, and I think President Nez, Vice President Leiser are trying to do the best they can to keep the spread of, but people can't get in. And so we've tried to reach out to them. We've actually did a drive. I want to thank all the individuals who helped sew masks and prepare water and various things and take up there. So we've been working with individuals, representatives up there to get things to them, trying to help them as much as we can. But we're getting good support from not only the Apache County tribal members, but also Navajo Nation, Hopi, and various individuals that are in our district.
Sounds good. Okay, we talked briefly, or you talked briefly about the economy. Let's talk about the economy and how to improve it post-COVID-19.
So my background, I have a law practice here in 10. I have a business administration degree in business and finance. And so I work specifically with individuals to help create their businesses, help maintain their businesses, help make it a more tax-friendly running business. And so there are several ways that we can help this economy, because the economy is going to be the biggest thing in 2021, 2022. So number one, one bill that I would propose would be to eliminate the payroll tax for employers, and we can also look at employees for at least a year period of time. And that would allow employees and employers to have a lot more take home, but also employers so they don't have to match that contribution, so they can essentially have more capital to get the payroll going and to get that cash flow going to get their businesses started up. So that's number one. Number two, businesses are going to need cash flow. Many businesses either didn't apply or they weren't able to get the PPP loans. And so many businesses are going to need capital to get running. And so number one, I would recommend that individual business owners be able to tap into tax-deferred or tax-qualified accounts, a 401k, for example, and be able to draw money out of that 401k, tax and penalty-free, so that they could use some of that money. And if it was used specifically for business purposes, we don't need vacations and other things, but for business purposes, payroll and business costs and expenses, for a year period, to be able to allow them to tap in and use that cash flow for those purposes. Number three, I would suggest a bill that would allow businesses to tap into Small Business Administration loans, not freebies, but loans with a low interest rate, so they could get the cash flow again to start going. Okay, to get this economy going and roaring again, because this economy is based on the backs of small businesses. And I work with businesses throughout CD1, throughout Arizona, and we're wanting to get back to work. And so we want to do that. And I would say third, we want to allow people to invest. We want to allow people to get money that have money to be able to put them in. So I would say another recommendation would be to essentially make the short-term capital gains tax rate, instead of an ordinary income tax rate, make it a 10% capital gains tax rate. So people can invest. If they sell real estate or sell some appreciable asset, they'll be able to sell it, have a low tax rate, get that money in the economy moving again. And so that's what we need to get this economy going.
Or what about getting rid of that tax? I
wouldn't be opposed to getting rid of the capital gains tax, because people, you go and you invest, and that's the way the economy, whether it's a stock, whether it's a piece of land, whether it's appreciable asset, apartment complex, rental home, people want to be able to invest, and that's what gets the money economy going, is that free flow and with those types of things. So I would not be opposed to the elimination of the capital gains tax.
What's your thoughts on shutting down the economy? Like was done.
It was a horrible thing to do. Number one, I can see that initially we had concerns about China. We were not getting a lot of information from China. We were not getting full information. And all of a sudden we have these models that were saying that we had 2 million people that were going to die. And so we put restrictions in place. But several states did not shut down the economy. South Dakota, Utah had certain free elements there, several states. And we have not seen the spike in their economy as we did in other places. And so the problem is we've seen the shutdown of the economy. we've seen that the result of the shutdown is worse than the numbers we're seeing now with the COVID-19 or the Wuhan virus. We know exactly where it came from. Let's call it what it is. And so the shutdown has caused, it's just horrible detrimental effects, domestic violence. It's caused suicides. It's causing people anxiety and stress. They're not able to work, or they're trying to work at home. I talked to a lady this morning, actually, at the Marana town market, and she was fired, or she was let go from her job. She was selling things at the market, trying to make a go of it, and it was just wonderful to see her attitude of that. But we didn't have to do that. We didn't have to shut down our economy, and we're seeing the numbers just don't justify it. The numbers just don't justify shutting down our economy. So the problem is we're going to see a result that's going to be worse than the virus itself.
Where do you stand on funding the military?
I support the military. I support funding the military in a way that would help protect our interests, our own interest, and our allies. And so I have a son in the military. He's in the Navy. In fact, I was able to speak with him last night for many, many months. He came into San Diego, and it was wonderful to speak with him. And so I, number one, support the military wholeheartedly. My wife's father served in Vietnam. Our grandparents served in World War II. And so we have a long history in the military. And so I support the military. I support funding the military to help them have the necessary. You've seen a difference between the Obama administration that cut military spending drastically, and then you have the Trump administration that's helping build it up to protect our interests, but yet keep it through peace. And I think that's important. We want to be peaceful, but yet we want to be able to protect our interests from the insurgents or other people that are trying to that desire to do us harm.
So, if you win in the primary, and if you win in November, what committees do you want to be on? And what can you do for the people of Arizona?
So there are a couple. Number one, there's a small business committee. There's the Ways and Means committee that I think that fit my strengths. Ways and Means, again, Ways and Means, small business, Judiciary committee with my legal background. And so those are some committees. And again, business background, economic background, tax background, regulation background, things that I think will help CD1. CD1 is a very diverse district. We have retirement communities in Saddlebrook and Dove Mountain. We have urban areas. We have rural areas. We have the White Mountains, where I've been all over the state in the last few days putting up signs and doing things in Flagstaff, Holbrook, Winslow, Snowflake, Taylor, Winslow, Show Low, Pine Top. Going all throughout the district, we've been in the Gila Valley area and in Pinal County. And so the way that I can help this district is, and it's not just helping one part of the economy. It's not just helping the agriculture community, although that is very, very important. It's not just helping the logging community, albeit that's very important. It's knowing all sectors of the district and having a background and having the dedication to want to help those individuals, again, through those same economic models. But also our rural communities are hurting. There are water rights issues. There are infrastructure issues. In the White Mountains, you can hardly get cell service. In fact, I was trying to contact Anna, my campaign manager, and couldn't get a hold of her. We were losing. So we don't have the infrastructure up there, the internet infrastructure. So President Trump's talked about getting some funding for infrastructure for those rural communities. And so that would be a wonderful thing to do. And so, number one, as I win the primary and the general election, I will become a member of the Freedom Caucus. And that caucus is important to not only the United States, but also for Arizona. And because that Freedom Caucus are those who are willing to fight not only against the Democratic Party, but also against the establishment party. In fact, when President Trump was elected, we had the Senate, we had the House. We could have accomplished a lot of great things for America, but it didn't happen because of certain establishment sectors that didn't have the backbone, if you will, to do things that were great for Arizona and for the United States.
Nolan, we've got, sadly, 2 minutes left. This went way too quick. We need to have you back on, but important for me, important for a lot of our listeners, Second Amendment.
So I am a conservative constitutional Republican, and I wholeheartedly support the Second Amendment without any restrictions. I do not support red flag laws. We've seen what happened in California with the restrictions there. We've seen what's happening throughout the United States, that this looting and rioting that's going on. People have the right, and I say the right, it's not a government-given right, it's a God-given, government-protected right to protect oneself and one's property. And so I'm a Second Amendment, pro-Second Amendment wholeheartedly. I'm a pro-life candidate. I'm a free enterprise candidate. I support traditional values, and I support things that make our economic and make our country great. And so I have an opponent that has chosen not to debate me. She will not appear on any town hall. She will not. And I think that goes back to the purpose of government, that all political power is inherent in the people. The people have the right to know where their candidates stand, know where they have a debate, have a discussion, and then the voters can decide. But my primary candidate has chosen not to do so. And so I think that's a detriment to the voters. I think the voters have the right to see that, and it's detrimental. So that's the type of candidate that I am, that will protect the rights of the citizens of Arizona, CD1.
Okay, 30 seconds. How do we get a hold of you? Do you need money? How do people find you?
We always need money. So Reidhead for Congress. That's my website, REIDHEAD for Congress. And you can go there, and we'd really appreciate donations. Signs and various things are expensive. And so also volunteers to get out the word and to help get us through CD1. But we're going to win our primary. We're going to defeat Tom O'Halloran, who is not a moderate. He is not for CD1. And we want to do right for CD1 here in Arizona.
Great. Nolan, thanks. Best of luck. Come back to see us.
Thank you. Vote Reidhead for Congress.
And in closing, Bruce and I hope all of our insiders will continue to tune in and support our great advertisers. Imus Wilkinson, Asset Management, Tucson Iron and Metal Retail, and Corazon Cabinets. Bruce does business with all these people. You should too. Until next week, for Inside Track and Bruce Ash, this is Zeb Wilkinson. We wish you a very pleasant good afternoon and another healthy week wherever you may be.